All right, today we're pulling back the curtain on a really high-stakes battle. It's one you've probably never heard of, but trust me, it's going to shape the entire future of technology. This is the story of two hidden titans, Advanced Energy and MKS Instruments, and their fight for dominance in the semiconductor world. Let's get right into it.
You know, when we think about AI, names like NVIDIA or maybe AMD, they immediately pop into our heads. But have you ever stopped to ask, who actually powers them? Who builds the foundational tech that even makes it possible to create these unbelievably complex chips? Well, the answer lies deep in the shadows of those tech giants. It's the subsystem suppliers. These are the companies building the hyper-precise, almost magical equipment that forms the very bedrock of every single advanced semiconductor factory on the planet. Honestly, they are the true unsung architects of this AI age. And right inside that hidden layer, two titans are locked in this incredible strategic conflict. On one side, you've got Advanced Energy, or AEI. They're the specialists, laser-focused on growth. And on the other side, you have MKS Instruments, the huge diversified market leader. Their battle for dominance in the 2025 fiscal year reveals two totally different playbooks for winning the future of silicon.
Okay, first up, let's just look at the raw numbers. This is where we see the first major split in their strategies. It's a classic matchup, pure unadulterated speed versus just sheer scale.
And wow, right away the contrast is sharp. AEI is growing at a blistering 21.4% year over year. I mean, that is just flying. MKS is also growing, a solid 9.6%, but it's clearly on a different trajectory. But here's the thing, these percentages don't tell the whole story. To really get what's happening, we need to look at the size of the pie each company is starting with.
And there it is, the context. MKS is an absolute behemoth, pulling in almost $4 billion in 2025. That's more than double AEI's $1.8 billion. So yeah, while MKS is this giant, AEI is the one growing at a breakneck pace. But what is fueling this incredible acceleration for them?
This right here is the engine. A staggering 106.7% increase in their data center computing division. This isn't just some incremental growth, people. This is a direct bullseye on the absolutely insatiable power demands of AI servers. It's a massive strategic win for them.
And just look at how that one division has completely reshaped AMI's entire business. Data center computing is now a full third of their revenue. They have basically hitched their wagon to the AI rocket, and it has totally paid off. Now let's see how this explosive growth is reflected in their actual financial health.
Okay, this is where we go beyond those flashy growth numbers and we look at the foundation each company is built on. And guess what? It is another story of stark contrasts. One company has built a fortress, while the other has built an empire on leverage.
This matrix from HDIN Research, it just lays out the difference in the plainest terms possible. Look at AEI. They have more cash in the bank than they have in total debt. That's a fantastic position. Now look over at MKS, a massive $4.28 billion in debt. This isn't just a slight variation, folks. This is a fundamental split in corporate philosophy.
And that leverage, it comes at a very steep price. MKS is paying $212 million a year just on interest. That's not just some line item on a balance sheet. That's a massive anchor weighing down their ability to innovate and respond to market changes.
So what you end up with are these two totally different profiles. AEI's net cash state gives them the agility of a startup, right? They're free to acquire new tech or weather an economic storm. MKS, for all its power, is operating under the constant pressure of managing that debt, which can really limit its strategic options. And these financial differences, they're a direct result of their core strategies. So now let's look at how these companies actually build their defenses, their competitive moats. One is building a fortress on a very narrow strategic hill, while the other is building this vast, sprawling empire.
This right here is the strategic mantra of MKS Instruments. And let me tell you, it's way more than a tagline. It's the actual DNA of their entire business. But what does it really mean? Well, it means total market saturation. Their products are essential in nearly every single critical step of making a chip, from depositing microscopic layers to etching intricate circuits. We're talking over 85% of the entire chip-making ecosystem. Their competitive advantage isn't one killer product. It's that they are systematically woven into everything. They're like the invisible infrastructure of the entire semiconductor world. Now, AEI's strategy is a perfect counterpoint to MKS's empire building. You could think of them as the special forces of the semiconductor world. They don't try to be everywhere.
Instead, they picked their battles, and they've mastered the most technically demanding niche, precision power conversion for the most advanced applications out there, like AI chips.
And you can literally see that strategic difference right here in their R&D spending. AEI plows nearly 13% of its revenue back into research just to stay on the absolute cutting edge of its narrow focus. MKS, on the other hand, spends a smaller percentage across its much broader portfolio. This is focus versus scale, quantified.
So with these wildly different profiles in growth, financials, and strategy, what's the outlook for 2026? Well, as an investor, you're faced with a very clear choice between two very different, but, equally compelling stories.
It's really not about which company is better, but more about which thesis you believe in. With AIE, you're buying a growth premium. It's a pure play bet on the AI boom, and it's backed by that incredible fortress balance sheet. With MKS, you're investing in a deep moat. Their systemic importance is absolutely undeniable, but it comes with a valuation discount because of all that debt.
So, looking ahead, what are the key questions we should be asking? For MKS, can they actually navigate their debt burden and start paying it down? For AEI, will they be able to maintain profitability and optimize costs as they scale up their new capacity? And for both of them, how are they going to navigate the dual forces of geopolitical risk and the relentless, non-stop pace of AI demand? Which, of course, brings us to our final question. In a world that is being fundamentally remade by AI, which model is ultimately going to triumph? Will it be the focused, agile speed of a specialist like AEI, or will it be the deeply entrenched, systemic scale of a giant like MKS? In this high-stakes game, the answer is going to determine who writes the next chapter of the AI revolution. The future of the semiconductor industry is literally being written right now. This entire analysis was powered by data from HDIN Research. To stay ahead of the curve, you should definitely visit their website. Thanks so much for joining us.